all the tiles. That we have are the big squares are the x squareds, rectangles are the x's, and then we have the units. Okay, the colored in ones are the negatives. We all have those. In the beginning of the year, you guys thought the tiles were silly to use for solving equations. This stuff eventually, as we go through, this is the first part. When we go to the second part, which will be factoring, these tiles and what's called the box method will be a big help to you. Okay, right now, what I want you to do, I want you to write down, I want you to copy down where it says factors, tiles, and box. Okay? This right here is called a factor frame. Okay? Factor frame. Okay, it's just where we're going to put in our tiles. But when you hear me say draw a factor frame, that's what I'm talking about. This box, I'll explain how we use that in just a minute. I'm going to erase this. Now, factor frame. When you're talking about factors, factors are numbers that multiply together to get something. What the factors multiply together to get is called a product. Okay? So the first factors, we're going to start very basic because you guys back in the day when you were little, you learned how to multiply. And if you remember the multiplication charts that you used to have, okay, they used to be like split up where you had a factor frame and you had 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 like this. And remember you would look and say 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2, or 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3. Do you remember doing this? Yeah. 2, 4, 6. It's going to be the same type of thing that we're going to do. So let's go, for example, and I'll show you how we're going to use the tiles to be able to show how to multiply. My factors. Let's go with 2 times 3. There are my factors. What you're going to do, and in tiles, whatever's in the first parentheses, we're going to draw down this first column right here. And I'm going to put my tiles together. I'm going to draw 1, 2 tiles and just connect them. What's in the second parentheses, I'm going to take across the top. 3, 1, 2, 3. So the factors go on the outside of the factor frame. What we're going to get inside here is the product. Okay, and the way we're going to do this is now I'm going to go up here and I'm just going to continue my lines. See, I'm going to draw a rectangle down here. I'm going to bring my lines, connect my lines. And right now I have 2 times 3. What is 2 times 3? 6. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My product is 6. Without even knowing, I could take my kids when they were 4 and 5, okay, maybe a little bit older, maybe I'd have to have a little bit older, maybe, probably, I think it was when he was in 1st grade, and I had him drawing this, and I could teach him how to multiply just by drawing these pictures. Now, in the box method, I would take here and I'd put this first thing right here down this side, and I'd have a 2. I'd take the 3 and put it across the top. So instead of drawing the tiles, okay, I can do it with the box method and go 2 times 3 and get 6, which is just like what you guys did when you were looking at those charts that I drew up here on how we used to figure out how to multiply. Okay? So, again, another example. Say we want, let's do 1 times negative 2. 1 times negative 2. Whatever's in the first parentheses, let's go here. I'm going to draw the 1. Whatever's in the second parentheses goes across the top. 2 negatives. Now be careful because we have these connected. So when I go to color them in, I don't color them all the way in because I want to make sure I can see the lines to separate them out. There's our factors. Our factors are on the outside. My product is what's going on the inside. So I'm going to continue my lines right here. And now, the only thing is, though, what do we know 1 times negative 2? What is that? It's a negative. Okay, so my product is negative 2. Well, if you look here, the only thing I have to look at after I draw the boxes is 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. There's where my negative 2 comes from. So in the box method, you would take that first number and put it here. You would take that second number and put it up here. Then we would say 1 times negative 2, and that's negative 2 to get the answer. Okay, well this seems basic. People are like, okay, well great, we've been multiplying for many years. Let's add in there some of the tiles. Right here for my factor, we're going to do this. We're going to go 2 times x. 2 times x. So in the first column right here, I'm going to draw my 2 tiles. The x is going to go across the top. Make sure you draw it longer than your units. You have to be able to separate your unit tiles, the unit tiles are smaller ones, and the x's. And if you're not careful, you'll confuse yourself and draw the wrong shape. So my factors are drawn, and now I need to find my product. Well, let's continue the lines. What do I have now in the product area? 2 x's. Okay, so my product is 2x. So in the box method, we would put the 2 right here and the x across the top. 2 times x, 2x. Next, let's do this one. 2 times x plus 1. Okay? Eventually we won't be doing both the tiles and the box, but you will have questions on the tiles. You're going to have to understand that. They do use those on your tests and on your tax test. So if we go to draw our tiles, again, the first thing goes here. 2. X plus 1 goes across the top. X plus 1. Okay, my factors are in my factor frame. Now I need to find my product. I'm going to draw my line. Right there. The next step you normally look at is, are there any positives and negatives? Do I have any negatives anywhere in there? No, so I don't have to worry about it, not yet. Not till the next problem. So now I just have to write what's left. Well, this is an x, a unit, and a unit. So what's my product? 2x plus 2. If you look at the box right here, look, we're separated into 2 things right here. 2 boxes. Well, the 2, I have a monomial. The 2 goes right there. This is a binomial. There are 2 terms. So I'm going to put the x and the plus 1 right here. So now to fill in the box, I have 2 times x, 2x, 2 times 1, plus 2. Same thing. Now the only thing I haven't added in there is the calculator check. All of this can be checked in the calculator. Put the original problem into y1, right? You go to y equals in your calculator. So go to y equals, and in y1, put 2 parentheses x plus 1, and in y2, put what you think the product is. Press second graph, and when you go and look in the table, how do you know if you're right? Y1 and Y2 will be the same. All of these numbers right here, all Y1 equals Y2. Okay, it's the same way we've been checking. Okay, we're going to do one more. Actually, 2 more. We'll do 2 more. Let's add in some negatives here. Let's try 3 times x minus 2. 3 times x minus 2. So you guys do that right now. If you're watching the video, then you pause it and try and do it, and then press play in a minute. So now, to to come back, we're going to take the 3, put it down the first column right here. 1, 2, 3. Take x minus 2 and do it across the top. X and 2 negatives. Okay? I could go over here to the box. We can write our factors in here. 3 and x minus 2. So everything I've done in the green is all the same. Now I need to go through and find my product. With the tiles, I'll continue to draw my lines down here. Okay, but that's not my final answer. You have to look at your positives and your negatives. A positive times a positive is a positive. Positive times a negative, that should be negative. Positive times a negative. So all of these right here should be negatives. Okay? Well, let's look over here for my product before we find my answer. 3 times x, 3x. Is that what I have right here? Yes. 3 times negative 2, negative 6. Sure enough, that's what I have. My product is 3x minus 6. Now, some of you guys are looking at this already with what I have drawn up here, and you're like, wait a minute, why are we doing all this? Because we know how to do the distributive property, right? Hippity hoppity. Isn't that all this is? 3 times x, 3x. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Okay. Again, I told you, this is the beginning of what we're going to do. We're eventually going to do a binomial times a binomial. For example, and I'm not going to do this one yet because we're going to wait till tomorrow, but you will be multiplying things like this. Then you will have to do a little bit more with the box, but we're starting at the beginning. Okay? One more that I want to do is this. What about the factors? What if I did x times x? X times x. Well, let's get our factors down here. X times x. I draw the factors in there. And in this case, x and x. Do I need this box right here? No. I don't worry about that box. There's not, because it's a monomial times a monomial. It is x squared. Because when I draw my bigger, I continue my lines, it becomes a bigger square. That's why the x's are always those long rectangles and the x squareds are the boxes. X times x is x squared. Because what did we say that we did in the exponent rules? When you're multiplying the two bases, what do you do with these exponents? Add them. Well, 1 plus 1, x squared. That's where that comes from. Okay? We need to do, before I stop on this video and we do some of our practice problems, I need to give you guys an example of how we're going to find perimeter and area with this. So I want you to draw this triangle. There are extra problems on the YouTube account to be able to do more of these, for more of these applications. Here's my triangle. First off, let's go with what we've already done earlier, which is perimeter. Okay, perimeter. How do you find perimeter? Add all the sides. What part of that triangle do I not need right now for perimeter? The middle, which is the 4x. I don't want to get rid of it yet because we're going to need it for area. So we're just going to forget about it for now. So just forget about that. Okay? To find the perimeter, let's add up all the sides. I've got 5x and 6x, which is 11, plus 1. I've got 12x. Then I add together my units. 10 minus 3, 7, plus 1, 8. There's your perimeter. Now notice that my perimeter only has x's. There's no x squared because all I'm doing is adding them together. Now, though, I want to find the area. What's the formula for area of a triangle? Wait, what do you do with the 4x? Okay, right now for perimeter, you don't do anything with it. Okay? We need it now for area. Area of a triangle, you can write it two different ways. One is 1/2 base times height. Yeah, or base times height divided by 2. You can do it either way. Okay, well wait. My base is this right here. My height is the 4x. So my area is 4x times x plus 10. That's my area. I've got to now multiply it. So now, let me move this up a little bit. Let's draw a box. Instead of doing the tiles, I'm going to put the 4x here. What goes across the top? X plus 10. There are my factors. 4x times x. For what? What's x times x? X squared. Remember? Then you take 4x times 10, 40x. Now, this in the blue is not my answer yet. Remember, you have to divide it by 2. So now I got to come back over here. So if I have 4x squared plus 40x, if I divide all of that by 2, my answer, 4 divided by 2, 2x squared, 40 divided by 2 is 20x. That right here is my area. We're going to have to spend a little bit more time doing this one. Okay? Let me come up with one more. Let's do one more. Let's just do the area because that's a lot. It looks like a lot of chicken scratch. Let's do this. Okay? So right now, I want you guys to go and find the perimeter and find the area. Find the perimeter, and then we need to find the area. Okay? Perimeter means to add up all sides. So if I went to add up all my sides, 2x and x, how many x's do I have? 3x. And my units? 2 and 4 plus 6. That's my perimeter. All you did was add up what's on the outside. The area is when we have to do 1/2 base times height. 1/2 times, I've got 2x plus 2, and my height, 3x. Okay, so there's what I have right now. The next step is to draw the box and to do this part right here. So let's draw the box. I'm going to put 2x plus 2 right here. I'm going to put 3x on the side. Let's find the product. 2 times 3 is 6. X times x? X squared. This one, 3 times 2, 6. And there's just an x, so we'll leave it like that. The trick is, this is not your answer. If it was multiple choice, they will try and trick you by leaving this as an answer. What do I have to do next? Divided by what? Divided by 2. So, what is it? 3x squared plus 3x. Sure is. 3 3x squared plus 3x.